You guys ever been around those kinds of people that all you can think to yourself when you're around them is nothing could be more painful than listening to you talk about what you are doing and going through in your life. And it's not because you hate this person, it's just that their energy is just so off. And when they look at you, someone that's on point, that is defying gravity, that is making strides in more ways than one, that is bringing the truth to the situation through your actions. It's like they can't handle it. And so in this video, I want to talk about why people are in denial of who you are. I was at the gym earlier today and I was listening to these people, not because I wanted to, but because I just don't wear headphones when I go to the gym. And I was on the bench and they were on the bench next to me about talking, and they were talking about how tired they were and how sluggish they were from the last night before when they were out drinking and all that. It's like, well, that's why I don't drink anymore. That's why I don't drink anymore. And I just don't care to hear you talk about this kind of stuff at the gym. And I didn't say those things, but all I could think about when I was around these people was just how much of a nightmare it is to be around people like this. How they just expect results while still partaking in actions that will not adhere to the conditions that are supposed to be set for them to achieve such goals that they have. And it's like they just kept saying, I can't, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so sluggish. Oh, I can't. It's like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to be around that kind of stuff. I don't want to be around that kind of stuff. And then they look at me and they're like, well, that guy looks like he's just doing just fine. It's like, yeah, it's because I didn't go out drinking the night before. It's because I actually ate a good meal before this training session. It's because I actually put a little bit of effort into what I'm doing now. It's because I don't just put shit in my body for the sake of putting shit in my body. Now, if you're going to have some brownies and ice cream every once in a while, like once every 2 weeks or so, that's entirely your prerogative. I think if even just once a week is fine as well. But it's like they had this certain, I wouldn't say jealousy or envy per se, but it was just like they were in awe that I was doing just fine on a Sunday morning working out when everybody else around me seems kind of sluggish. And before that, I went to a coffee shop, and it was a coffee shop that I don't usually go to anymore in my town because there's just a lot of stuff that happened there. And it's a great coffee shop, but it's almost like there's this spirit that is godless there. And I'm not quite sure how else to describe it. And it wasn't like it used to be. Like, it is a beautiful place, you know. It's a very beautiful place to get some work done on a Sunday morning and head to the gym afterward. But man, it's just like the environment, the energy that's there as far as the people go are not entirely put together. And I saw some old people that I used to know a little bit, and they're like, oh, how are you doing? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you doing... It's like they just want to know what you're up to, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, they just want to know what you're doing because they want to see if you still got it or not. They want to see if you are doing what you say you're going to do. And so I said, yeah, I'm doing this, this, and this. Torture them with fucking success. That's what I'm doing. And the look on their faces was priceless. Oh, it was priceless. They were like, oh. They weren't excited for me. And I know this, like I knew they weren't going to be, but I like to show the results rather than telling people about what I'm going to do. And so when I have the results to tell, when people ask, sure, I'll tell them the results. I don't always recommend you do that. It depends on who's around and what you're talking about. But in this instance, I thought, yeah, these people were people that took advantage of me and took me for granted. And so now they're wanting to know what I got going on, what I'm doing with my life. Oh, yeah, I'm fine without you. In fact, I'm doing very well without you. It's not because I hate you. It's just that turns out I don't need you as much as you need me. And I'm not trying to be an arrogant prick. I'm just stating a fact. I will be charming and menacing at the same time when people ask me questions like that. I hate questions like that. What do you do? What are you doing? What are you doing now? Shut up. Like, do you guys... can't you talk about anything else? You guys are so concerned with status and money. You guys are so concerned with how you look to the world that you don't even know what you look like to yourself. And people really don't get that when someone wins, someone loses. It's actually very important to know, if you're in a competition, who is the winner and who is the loser. And sometimes you have to treat what you can't have as if you didn't even want it in the first place. That's something I learned from the 48 Laws of Power. Is that if there is something that you cannot have, disdain it. Because when you disdain it, you are treating it as if it is something that is not worthy of you to be in your life anyway. Now, I'm not saying that you should lie to yourself, but you should understand how the game of power works. And as someone that is very interested in power and influence, I highly would recommend you adopt this ability to do such a thing. The reason being is just as what I said. It's that you're treating it as if you don't need it in your life anyway, even though you actually did want it. You have to have the discipline and the stoicism to show that you didn't actually need it in the first place. You want it, but you don't need it. That's the real difference. Especially for men out there, you have to understand that you're the one that's needed more often than not. It's not going to be somebody else. It's you are to yourself. You are the one that's needed to yourself the most. And when you can understand that, you will defy gravity. You will bring truth into action because that's what you are doing. You are action-oriented. You are on your purpose. You are fulfilling your goals and dreams. And for any women out there, it's not always about winning and losing for the females, apart from like their competition anxiety that they get with relationships. That is really the biggest competition I would say women have generally, because that's also the main thing that women talk about. You don't hear women talking about what happened at the sports game or what happened in these stocks or what happened with, you know, the construction over there or Now, women talk about relationships. That's what they talk about. That's why they have the conversations that they do. But people, when you are on the spiritual path, when you are on point, when you are doing what you need to do, for men and women out there, they're going to be in denial of who you really are because you're actually bringing stuff to the table. And they didn't believe in you in the first place. Like these people at the coffee shop today with me, they weren't excited. They weren't like, yeah, that's awesome, man. No, they were like, they had this look of, you're leaving? Like, you're leaving me behind. It's like, yeah, bro. I've got better places to be and better things to do. It's like you have to really treat your relationships as a business sometimes. Sometimes they're just not worth it. They're just not worth it. You can be kind, you can be cordial, but I keep my distance. Especially in the town that I'm in, I try to have a sense of reservedness, and I really try to apply my attention to people that really actually matter to me. Because I don't have time to waste. And neither do you. You don't have time to waste. Now, it's important to vet people and to vet all kinds of aspects of people in your life. And that takes a little bit of time. But if there's too many red flags in the person where they're still doing the same old shit that they're doing before, even though they know what they're doing is wrong, and they're still not changing, that's a sign that you don't really need them in your life. And I'm here to tell you that there's better things for you to do than to be around people that love complacency. And they don't even love complacency, actually. That's not even the right way to say it, because they don't love complacency. They're addicted to it. To love growth is something completely different because you have to be willing to accept the pain. When you're addicted to complacency, you're addicted to the statal idleness. And that's when the devil can get you most. So with that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful. Until next time, peace be with you. And don't stop. Do not stop.